We are continuing day 2, and guess where we are, Brittany?
Getting our drink on?
We're at the Bacardi factory.
We are, yeah.
Are you ready to see what you have no idea. You've done no research.
Not really.
I've done all the research on this one.
I have a feeling it's going to be like any other distillery tour.
Yes.
Some little drinks.
But I believe there's a tram tour.
Oh, very exciting.
Yes. I love a good tram tour.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I did.
So you go in here and you sign in, and then I believe you get a complimentary cocktail.
Alright.
Well,
let's head that way.
You ready to get your drink on?
I am.
Alright, into Bacardi. What'd you get? A Lego set?
I got a mojito.
A mojito?
Yeah.
You say. It's very loud in here.
It is.
These are a part of the tour. You get these with the tour.
It's very good.
Is it very good? It should be the best mojito you've ever had.
It's pretty good. Is that good?
It's actually really, really good. You may not have that.
Can I try some?
I said you may not have that.
Very like lemonade.
Yes. It's a hard lemonade, it tastes like.
Yeah.
Well, we've got half an hour to kill before the trolley comes around. And then we'll be on our way.
First and foremost, welcome to Casa Bacardi, the largest premium rum distillery in the whole wide world. But as well, welcome where mi casa is su casa. Welcome to my beautiful island, Puerto Rico. A sunny day in Puerto Rico, as we can see.
Yeah.
Now, enough about the rules. Let's make it happen. Let's learn about the best elixir of the whole wide world. Let's learn about the Bacardi rum. You see, my friends, our story begins in the night of 1862, Santiago de Cuba, February 4th, where the one and the only Don Facundo Bacardi Maso revolutionized the rum-making process from that moment on and forever. However, even though Bacardi started in Cuba, it wasn't until 1936 that the company moved to Puerto Rico. The birthplace of Bacardi in Puerto Rico is right across that beautiful lake that you have on your right-hand side. That, my friends, is El Viejo San Juan, Old San Juan. A city, my friends, that has more than 5 centuries worth of history, worth of beautiful food, beautiful sightseeing. If by any chance you find yourselves walking the streets of Old San Juan, and you encounter a building that has a CVS pharmacy and a Foot Locker, my friends, that is the Ochoa building, and that is the birthplace of Bacardi in Puerto Rico. It wasn't until 1958, however, that the company moved production to our current location in Cataño. None other than 127 acres of land were purchased to position us as the largest premium rum distillery in the whole world. Now, speaking about this building to our right, that is our gallery. Serves as a venue for year-round festivities and reunions of the real Bacardi family, as well as corporate events. My friends, as we make this turn real quick, I will come to a brief stop because we are now introducing ourselves to the production area. You see, today we will learn history, but we will learn as well how Bacardi rum is made. Now, in order to do so, I will briefly explain 3 very important structures that we have to our right. Now, we will start with the very first structure that you see, the building with the big green windows. That is our blending facility, named under our former master blender, Jose A. Gomez. Now, that is where we blend our bases. And you see, when I mean by blending, it's because we don't make rum per se, we make bases. And the blend of those bases, when we pair those bases up, the product that we receive is the rum that we desire. So we work with 2 separate bases. We have a light rum base and we have a heavy rum base. Light because it's light in aromas and textures, but it's strong in alcohol. And the heavy one is heavy in aromas, heavy in textures, but not so strong in alcohol. You see, to this day, we use the very same strain of yeast that Facundo used in 1862, because the same textures, same aromas, same flavors that Facundo dreamt up We want you to try that. We want you to enjoy that in every single sip of the cocktails. So, what happens with the yeast is that the yeast alone cannot burn it with the rum that we desire, the rum that we seek. So we need to help that out with two more ingredients. We have the yeast, but then we have the water and we have the molasses. We put those three ingredients together in a container, which we call a fermentation tank, which are the tanks that you see to the right hand side. Those big brown tanks are our fermentation tanks. That is the place where those ingredients will marinate for 24 to 48 hours and provide us with a liquid that we call distiller's beer. That distiller's beer is the first liquid that we use to start the rum making process. You see, Puerto Rican culture is a blend of different cultures. My apologies. And Bacardi pretty much wants to show that in every single aspect of our traditions. You see, we have a combination of Cuban descent, Cuban history, Cuban culture, but we are rich as well as Spanish culture, Spanish history, and Puerto Rican history and culture as well. So when you go to San Juan, walk the streets, you can see pretty much structures like these ones, different mosaics, different balconies, pretty much the essences of our cultures, the clash of our cultures are going to be present there as well. But this is not a tour based on architecture. This is a tour based on rum. Rum de Murciélago, the rum of the bat. And we know a little about history, we know a little about our production, a couple of the structures and buildings, but we yet have to discover the meaning behind this señorita right here, the señorita of the bat. Why does Bacardi have a bat as a logo? Out of all the things, we're going to learn that. Science, the craft behind Bacardi rum. We are going to learn that in our next station. Follow me to the bat theater.
Your journey today takes you from our humble beginnings more than 150 years ago to our status as one of the world's favorite premium rum brands. Our story begins on February 4th, 1862, in Santiago de Cuba, where our founder, Don Facundo Bacardi Mazo, began experimenting with the distillation of rum. His smooth and light-bodied rum had a quality unlike any other he had ever tasted. In order to supply his rums beyond his friends and family, he purchased a small tin roof distillery for the price of 3,500 pesos. After entering the distillery, his wife Amalia noticed a colony of fruit bats hanging from the rafters. As a lover of the arts, she knew instantly that this would be the perfect logo for her husband's rum, as Spanish and Cuban lore regarded bats as a symbol of good health, fortune, and family unity. To celebrate the end of the Spanish-American War in 1900, Bacardi was used to create the first ever Cuba Libre, Bacardi and Coke, now one of the most ordered cocktails around the world. Previously, it was also used to create the mojito and daiquiri. Don Facundo's children enhanced his legacy. His eldest son, Emilio, as the first president of the company, expanded to New York and Spain. Throughout its history, Bacardi as a company has had the ability to turn adversity into opportunities. Take Prohibition. America's unsuccessful experiment was the company's gain, as the Volstead Act prohibited the consumption of alcohol in the United States, so Americans turned to Cuba for fun and enjoyment. Havana nightlife and the dramatic Art Deco style building, Edificio Bacardi, became an international icon for style and sophistication. At the same time, Enrique Schweg began to produce Bacardi rum in the same way and under the same demanding standards outside of Cuba. He expanded the production of Bacardi to Mexico and to our first facility in Puerto Rico. After Prohibition, the company opened a sales office in New York City, later moved to Miami, and now currently in Coral Gables, Florida. Under the direction of Enrique's son-in-law, Jose Pepin Bosch, the company continued to expand. In fact, the current facility in Cataño, Puerto Rico, was established in 1958 and is the world's largest premium rum distillery. By 1978, Bacardi rum became the #1 premium spirit brand in the United States. The following year, #1 in the world. Whether you say Bacardi or Bacardi, we welcome you to enjoy our premium rum aged under the sun. So you see, there's more than meets the eye. Bacardi is a tradition of unparalleled commitment and a passion for making the world's best rums for your enjoyment. On behalf of the Bacardi family and our employees, we welcome you to explore Casa Bacardi.
But here's the thing. We have our bases, but we also have impurities. We also have, could be progenitors from the tanks, some dirt, it could be some other things that got in there some way, somehow. It could be some byproducts that we obtain through the fermentation, through the distillation. And we don't want that, and we don't need that. We only want our bases. So what we do is that we filter our bases, which is happens at this stage. But Facundo took it a little step forward. He created his young filtration methods, which he named charcoal mellowing techniques, which is a blend of charcoal and coconut shells. So that's one of the many things that make Facundo the pioneer that he is nowadays. But here's the thing. Okay, so now we have one base over here, the other base over here. Now I need to label my bases. I need to know which one is which. And that's my problem. I have a situation, I got too invested in the explanation, I forgot which one is which. I don't know which one is dark, which one is light, which one is heavy. So together, we will solve this mystery. Now what I did was, before I met you guys in the pavilion, and before we got sold by the glorious wind of Puerto Rico, I poured a little bit of this cask into this bottle, and then the same thing, poured a little bit of this barrel into this bottle. So what we're gonna do together, I'm gonna spray your hands separately, and through the sense of smell, not taste. We will smell the bases, we will not enjoy the bases. Disclaimer, so I'll spray your hands separately, and together we will identify which one is which. Now, once that happens, we age our barrels, which right behind you have an 1862 shelf, a replica, or what used to be used in the 1800s pretty much. Now, do notice that our barrels are arranged right there horizontally. Nowadays, we use vertical arrangements. Reason for that is because when we put something on the side, sideways, we pretty much can fill it up to levels that we desire. So we need to leave it pretty much up to here, 70% at most. If we organize our barrels vertically, we can pretty much increase the amounts that we can put into our barrels. From 70, we can pretty much put it up to 80 to 85%. Never 100%, because since evaporation will happen, we need to leave some gas in spaces, the fumes, gases, and everything to happen. Now, there's no such thing as a single formula, because every single barrel is different. Every single barrel is a live organism that is infusing flavors, aromas, and textures throughout the years. So that's why we don't have a strict formula. It changes pretty much every single day with our massive blenders. Now, in Puerto Rico, we pretty much get up to this point. We have the blends. We transfer our blends to Jacksonville, Florida, to water them down, because up to this point we have somewhere around 90 to 95% alcohol by volume. It's pretty much not enjoyable at that point. We bring it down to 40-45 with water, and then we bottle it. The watering down processes and bottling happens in Jacksonville, Florida. From Florida to the world. Am I right?
Yes.
Here we go. I will only dive into the ages of them. This is 1 to 2 years, a blend of 1 to 2 years, a blend of 2 to 3 years. However, a common assumption that people make is that this one is colorless due to the age. Now, what happens is back in the day, Facundo had some competition. You see, rum is not the only spirit out there. Back in the day, Facundo had to compete with gin and vodka. 2 colorless spirits as well. Now, what happens with rum pretty much when we start pouring rum, it comes out of the barrel a little bit like this, so amber colored. Back in the day, the 1800s, a common assumption people made is that if you have a cocktail which has color, it's not colorless, it's because the ice or the water is dirty. So it was a common assumption. Clean water was a very scarce material to obtain back in the day. So if you make a mojito with a brown colored rum, so it's going to be a brown mojito. So what he did, he added a mix of filtration to the white rum, to make it colorless, to make white rum. When he did that, then he was a legitimate contender with gin and vodka. Gin will overpower anything you throw at it. Vodka will be overshadowed by anything you throw at it. Rum will not do that. Rum will blend perfectly with everything. Stone fruits, fruits themselves, juices, carbonated cocktails, carbonation, it works just with everything. Now, pretty much every time you see a cork top of one of our bottles, this is a second rum. Things are getting serious. You see, this is meant to be enjoyed neat on the rocks. What I mean by neat is alone. What I mean by alone, no husband, no wife, no baby, no girlfriends, no. Hey, so it's meant to be enjoyed alone. However, I did say rocks. I do have an issue with rocks, however. You see, I don't like conventional rocks. Conventional rocks, water ice cubes. Boo! What happens with that? It dilutes the rum, it dilutes the spirit, it dilutes your cocktail. You don't want that. You gotta try with Bacardi rocks. Bacardi rocks are coconut water ice cubes. Now, coconut water will not dilute your spirit or your cocktail. It will enhance the flavors, the textures. It will impact your spirit. That's what we want you to do. That's what you want you to take back home with you. Coconut water ice cubes, Bacardi rocks. But now we have our Donita. Puerto Rico, Donita is a term we use for something aged, something vintage, something with experience. Limitada, Spanish for limited. Remember, we did got a little bit wet with the rain, but usually it's not like that in Puerto Rico. We have two seasons. We have the summer, then we have the heat. It's always hot. Our barrels are aged under the tropical Caribbean sun, so the heat is serious. This one is a blend of up to 16 years. Now, what happens? 16 years on this heat, pretty much. By the time we open those barrels, we have little to nothing left due to the evaporation, or little to limited amounts of rum, our bases. So since we have to wait so long to open those barrels, and by the time we wait for so long, we open them and find so little amounts, hence the name, limitada. Now, by the time you try those notes, it's going to be very dry notes, dry fruit notes, prunes, pretty much for somebody's notes. But now right here we have the MVP. We have our baby. We have our masterpiece. You see, so far, every time I mention it around, I say Bacardi White, Bacardi Gold, Bacardi Cuatro, Ocho, 10, limitada. Well, this one, I will not say Bacardi. I will say Casa Bacardi. Reason for that? This one you can only buy in Casa Bacardi, here, Catania, Puerto Rico, 00949. You can only try it in Casa Bacardi. You can only customize it in Casa Bacardi. But my friends, are you ready to see Casa Bacardi Special Reserve? I need a drum roll, please. Here we go. 1, 2, you guys are good. So my friends, I won't dive into more details because since you, my friends, are our guests of honor today, you will be able to try Special Reserve. Yeah. Yes. And the crowd goes wild. Step forward, my friends. Enjoy your Special Reserve. Nothing to fear. Alex is here.
This is not a shot.
Not a shot.
It's a sipping. And the sip. This is pretty like rum now.
It tastes really good. It's very smooth.
Until she's off camera and she throws up.
No. It's not that bad. It doesn't like burn. It's very smooth.
It burns a little bit.
Just a little.
It's got a little spice to it.
But it's good.
It's got a little taste to it. I like it.